Alright, guys, we have Reynad himself for the YouTubes here. He wants to interview me a little bit, ask me things about the game. Welcome, Reynad.
Hey man, it's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you, man. Alright, let's go.
Yeah, I've been watching your stream a good amount
Oh,
since the beta launched. Just thanks so much for making content, and I
no
wanted to
worries.
get your thoughts on a few things
Yeah,
because you're pretty uniquely like a very high level TFT player, but also high level Bazaar player, and you actually like both games.
yeah,
And overall, like I've been pleasantly surprised with how the beta launch has gone. Like more people are liking it. Than I expected, and that's been really great to see. On the TFT side, though, uh, we just cannot get these degenerates to come over, and
yeah,
I kind of expected that to some degree. I was like, okay, League of Legends fandom, they're gonna play whatever's
yeah.
but mechanically, I just haven't put hours into that game since like it first launched. Like I was in the I was playing those private lobbies with the first Hearthstone streamers back when Dota Auto Chess blew up,
Yeah.
and then I played the Drodo, the company that made that. They made some mobile version. I played that to like top 100 or something in a week, and I pretty much never touched auto battlers again. Like TFT came out right after. I played like a couple games and didn't really touch it. It just seemed like the same game but a little worse. All of them are mostly um, reskins of Pokemon Defense, which is an old Warcraft 3 mod that I really liked. But they're
Okay.
great games. And I do anyway. I know TFT has changed a lot since it first launched, and I kind of want to just hear from you, like, just like comparing, contrasting the two games. Like, what do you like more about TFT? What do you like? Is or just what are the differences? I don't really want to lead it too much. I'm just trying to understand from like a TFT player's perspective how they look at the Bazaar and like what's to like and what's to not like, or what was sort. Yeah, just I'm just trying to kind of hear from someone that has hours in both games at a high level.
Okay. So I can ramble about this for like, I can write a book about this. So, for me personally, I am, and this is not to glaze you, I truly, like, I think Bazaar is the best game in this genre right now, by far. And I think right now it's still in its infancy, so it has a lot of flaws. Like obviously the poison dually and all of that stuff, but not just balance wise. It's just the main reason why I think this is better. Why I even think something like Backpack Battles is, I think, a better strategy game than TFT. Because TFT just keeps taking everything out and then makes a new thing again. But the amount of items or champions they have is always limited. So you can always hard force. The entire strategy of that game is to just go on a website, check the best builds, and hard force them. And the skill in that game, there's infinite skill in that game. The pros are so much better than me, than even like a rank 50 challenger player is infinitely worse than a rank 5 player, right? But the skill comes in, like, how do you reach that endpoint? If I go on a smurf in a gold rank game, the enemies will play the exact same comp as when I'm watching a challenger player. They arrive at the same result. They have the same items, they have the same units on their board, they have the same positioning. Obviously, the positioning adds some mechanical aspect that other auto battlers don't have, right? But that's not that big of a deal for most of the player base. But the difference is basically the skill it takes to reach that stage, right? The pros will be better at their economy management and all of that stuff, right? But in the bazaar, I genuinely feel like I can, by knowing what kind of items can create different combos, I can run a different build every game. And this is still pretty limited because there's not that many items right now. But like in 2 years down the line, this is going to be insane. I think the reason why you're not getting the League of Legends or the TFT players is because they are just insane normies. Like I get people in my chat coming in, like they're like, "Why aren't you playing TFT?" And I'm like I'm trying to stab back at him by saying, "Why aren't you playing Super Mario?" You know, like I'm trying to say, like he probably played Super Mario as a kid and he stopped playing it. Like why isn't he playing it right now? Like I'm trying to open his eyes how stupid his question is, right? But then he's like, wait, what is that? What is Super Mario? Like they are so crazy normies. They don't even know Super Mario. Do you understand what I'm saying? They only know their little League of Legends universe. They only know their little TFT. They don't know anything else. And they actually prefer that gameplay where they can just open TFT Academy, check the best S tier builds, and just copy them. And your game is trying to not have that, right? You guys don't want to be to have any builds that are hard forceable. Now the thing is, the way I don't know if you know Mortdog, he's the lead designer of TFT, and he also streams and he sometimes talks about these things. People always complain about reroll comps in TFT. They are comps that are very easy to play. You just 3-star a very low tier unit, like a 1 cost, and you can pretty much do that every game. You will always be able to 3-star a 1 cost. No matter how bad you are, you will be able to roll down on level 4. It's right at the start of the game. It happens in the first like 8 minutes of the game. You're already doing your roll down, and you can already get your thing situated. And these are always the easiest builds to play by far. They have the least amount of decision making. And when there's a meta where these builds dominate, all the good players are extremely mad and are not having fun because the level 8 play style of like going, managing your economy and then going for those 4 costs, right, is a lot weaker then, right? And that's where the skill expression comes in usually in that game. And Mortog always says that he cannot nerf these builds out of viability because the noobs, the beginners, they love these. They love these builds. So if that is something you wanna secure, maybe there is certain builds that you wanna keep that should be decent in the meta, that can get like 7 wins and stuff. Because your game is very unique, right? You don't really, I don't know how you guys feel about the ranking system. I personally like it. I know a lot of people don't like it, where you don't really play against other people that are also legend rank, for example. You play just against random people. It's basically a Swiss format tournament, right? Basically, yeah. So you just play against people that have the same amount of wins. I'm pretty sure that system is bugged right now, right? Because it's kind of all over the place right now. Or how do you feel about that?
The hint that you see when you mouse over your opponent is bugged. Like it
Oh,
shows them at like a higher level than they should be and stuff like that. But the what their build is right.
okay. No. I'm not talking about the level. I'm talking about just how many wins they have. Is that also bugged? Like it shows wrong amount of wins, wrong amount of prestige.
It might be, yeah. So everything on that tooltip, I know there's some issues. I'm not
Oh,
sure
okay, okay.
exactly what they are from the
Yeah,
top
yeah.
of my head, but yeah, you should only ever be queuing into people on the same day, and that's like the only matchmaking heuristic.
Oh, okay. That's what I was getting at though. Like the same day is they have the same amount of resources, but what about queuing people with the same amount of wins approximately? Because if someone is dominating, they're probably high rolling. So you should probably fight someone that is, I thought that's how it was intended to work from the get-go. But yeah, anyway. Um that's the unique style, right? Like you're not trying to make it like super competitive. So hopefully it's gonna deter people from like hard forcing, but as you probably see currently, people are just playing burn dually, poison dually every game, right? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah, Dooley's
good.
just super overtuned.
Yeah, it's good to have something hard forceable like that, so the noobs can just easier get into the game. But it's like a slippery slope, right? And the way I see TFT is like it's only that. It's basically only that. You can't really go into a TFT game. Maybe 1 out of 20 games, I am sitting there and I'm like cooking up something that I haven't done before. 1 out of 20 at most. And like the higher you go in the ranking ladder, the less this becomes a thing, right? Whereas in Bazaar, I feel like I'm just playing a random S tier build, let's say Poison Dually, and then I get some random piece that just changes everything, right? And then it just makes the build super cool and unique. So, yeah, like you're basically asking me how you would go about capturing the TFT people, right?
Maybe I don't know that that's even a goal. I guess I wanted to ask, is there anything about TFT that you like more, that you feel like that game's doing better? I totally agree with everything you said there. It feels great to hear because that's totally was the goal to create that build variety.
Yep.
I'm glad it feels that way. And yeah, I hated the forcing thing. Like in those games, it was actually forcing. Like you know, 10 out of 10 drafts, I'm steering my build to the same units at the end. And yeah, people always use this word forcing in different ways. It's like if I just steer my draft by choice, is that forcing? Like if I'm not in an S tier build and then like an S tier item shows up and suddenly I pivot into it, did I force it? I don't know.
No.
It's like sometimes I end up on the same items, but the journey to get there is completely different too. So it's like I wonder if that feels different enough. But yeah, like the not forcing was never like a goal with the game because if you get rid of all forcing, it's kind of like getting rid of all player agency. You need there to be like some reliable stuff to get. So like everything in the game is forceable in a sense. Like you could reliably find whatever thing most of the time, but it's not going to be like a good version of it, right? So like, and then there's some strategies that I'm really surprised no one's. I don't see them being played that often. Like just all weapons. Like when every item on your board is a weapon, just
Yeah.
like full aggro. Yeah. That's like relatively forcible. It's like 30% of the item pool's weapons. You could get some version of that like every game. It won't always be the best version, but anyway, so I'm hitting on a bunch of points. But yeah, no, that feels great to hear that you the game feels that way to you because that definitely was the goal, and it sounds like overall you prefer the Bazaar to the way TFT plays right now.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So the thing I like, I, I so you're probably more asking what is better about TFT than Bazaar, or like what do I like more? But let me say something else. So the current set of TFT has this new system which is called anomalies. You can like empower. It's like kind of like an enchantment in Bazaar. You can enchant one character, one champion per game with an anomaly, and that can be something like when it kills an enemy champion, it gains 20 mana, and then it can like chain cast and stuff like that. So that has made TFT much cooler and like maybe lean more into these enchantments. I think the most fun thing about Bazaar are the enchantments. Now it would be dangerous to give too many of them, right? But maybe get one, like give one earlier, because I feel like enchantments they open up new build paths the most. So if you can get like an early, like a level 5 enchantment or something, obviously everyone would get stronger, but it would be harder to balance, but I feel like that could be something. But also, what I was gonna say, what is clearly super fun about TFT is the cash out trades. Are you familiar with those? So I don't think they existed back then, but there's every set there's a trait where you get rewarded by having it on your board and loss streaking, and the more you loss streak, right, the more of a reward you get, and you can get like powerful items, like 100 gold and stuff like that, right? Or like a tactician's thing, which I think used to be force of nature back in the days, where you would get like an additional unit on your board, like you expand your board thing, right? Your board size, and so something that could reward loss streaking, maybe like an early item that you can find in the bazaar, and then the more you lose PvP fights in a row, the more of a thing you can then sell it to get like a crazy reward, or like open up a random enchantment or something like that. Because I feel like right now in the bazaar, in TFT there's metas where sometimes you just want to always play tempo. You want to preserve as much health as possible because the economy from loss
Did I
streaking.
cut out?
What? No, you're still here. I see you. I hear you. Hello? Oh, oh, are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. It's hotel Wi-Fi.
Oh
It's
no, no, no worries.
dropping
You
in.
were still visible. Everything was fine. You just couldn't hear me, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, you were saying it's like right when you said, but in the Bazaar, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in the bazaar you don't really get like you only want to play tempo. If you want to rank up, in my opinion, in the bazaar right now, you should only play tempo. There's no reason to lose a PvP fight. There's no like for example, items like the shovel or the fishing rod are good examples of that, right? If you see them early, a silver shovel, right, in the first Vanessa thing at the start of the game, you don't really want it. Like I'll take it because it's fun, right? It's really fun. But you know you're conceding the first fight. And conceding the first fight is never worth. You know what I'm saying? And TFT has mechanics where it, like, loss streaking actually gets rewarded. And I know what should be rewarding in the Bazaar is that if you're the first one to lose and drop to 0 prestige, right, and get revived, you're the first one with an enchantment, right, for example, or the first one to get the 20 gold or whatever, and the XP. But at that point, you only have one life. You just need to fight against one broken, like, let's say he gets some lucky freeze enchantment on like the drum, the Pygmalion drum or whatever, and then you just lose, right? And then you're just out. So I feel like rewarding loss streaking in certain ways with certain items, like it could just be an item where it's like a powerful, it's like a 8 gold item or something, right? Early game, like a 8 gold, only silver. It only exists as a silver item, 8 gold. And if you have it on your board for 3 PvP fights and you lose all of them, it opens up a random enchantment or something like that. That could be, yeah, maybe that would be too boring of an idea, but something like that, right? Because it's hard to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah, the loss streak, yeah, more like the rubber banding mechanics. Like if you're behind, yeah, totally. Like you suggested, matching people based on the number of wins they have,
Yeah,
and like the problem with that is you incentivize them to throw all the early fights, right? So they get weaker opponents, and it
that's
just
true.
like disproportionately makes all the scaling strategies just busted. Because like, why
Oh,
would you
that's
ever
true.
play for tempo? And that's and I'm kind of worried that this would be like if we do those rubber banding mechanics wrong, there's like too much incentive to lose. But yeah, there's still so much incentive to win early, so you don't have to fight the late days. So yeah, we'll definitely look into some of those. Like we were actually thinking about it for like the free events, like we know, for example, how much experience you should have at every point. Like if you beat all the weakest monsters. So if you had less than that, we could give you an option that like gives you 2 XP, but it only shows up
Oh,
like if you had lost those or something. Yeah, the trick is like doing them in a way where people aren't abusing them, and it creates this like perverse play pattern.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's good feedback. Yeah, for sure, man. No, that's really good to hear. Yeah, because I fucking looked at these game systems, put like 10,000 hours in this game for like 6 years, and I was really wanting it to be the best option for like drafting games in general, not just auto battlers, but I wanted it to be like a better drafting format than TCGs and all that too. And I'm glad to hear you feel like you hit the mark on some of those areas. Because yeah, like a lot of the problems with the game get fixed with just more stuff. Like if the game had 2,000 cards instead of 400,
Exactly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that'll start getting there. Yeah, those should be like a pretty fast content cadence next year, and we'll keep adding heroes and stuff. But yeah, and we'll be building on the existing heroes too, so they'll get little 10 card expansions
Yeah.
once in a while. So I hope that all helps. But
It will help for sure. Like it will definitely help with this. Like again, what you're trying to achieve, you're for sure gonna achieve because I always look at backpack battles. I know you probably don't like backpack battles because they kind of yoinked your asynchronous thing. I know about that. Like I was watching these videos back then, and I was like, wait,
thank you
super.
so much. Thank you so much for calling that out, because of the entire like development cycle, that was the most infuriating experience,
Yeah,
was Super
yeah,
Auto
thank you.
Pets and the backpack battles. It was like, I don't care that they copied it. I hate that they didn't give credit, you know? If they
Yeah.
just said, "Yo, Reynad, thank you for designing our game for us. Uh, check out the Bazaar when it's out." I would have promoted their game. I would have said, "Great
Yeah.
work." Well, anyway, whatever. I'm ranting. I'm cutting
No,
you.
yeah. Just to explain for the people, because maybe my people don't know about this. So, Super Autopets and Backpack Battles later have this system which is asynchronous matchmaking, which is basically this thing where we fight ghosts of enemy players. So we have infinite time to make our decision making, or and that basically makes the game a lot more beginner friendly because you can just take your time, read the items. In TFT, if you play your first game of TFT and you never played before, I would recommend you to first go on a website and read every skill, every trait, and that's just so tedious. No one's going to do that, right? Because you have time pressure during the game. But this game you can just open and you can take your time, you can read everything, and it's amazing. And Super Auto Pets completely yoinked that. Then they use the most worthless graphics, which is just emojis, so they can just um, released the game before Bazaar. and then Backpack Battles probably didn't even know about the Bazaar, but they just saw Backpack Hero, and they saw Super Auto Pets, so then they just did that. Which again, yeah, and the most infuriating part, and again I saw that in a video, you were getting ridiculed for this asynchronous matchmaking, weren't you? People were saying this is such a bad idea. People want the interaction between each other. They do not want this. And then they yoink it and they get a hugely successful game. And like it's kind of sad because at the end of the day, Super Auto, like these games, they always come and go, right? So Super Auto Pets came, took all the took the market share for that time, and now it actually hurts you because some people might not even try the Bazaar because they already played through that system basically for them with Super Auto Pets. They're already done with that genre, right? Which is yeah, like I feel and they came in, yeah, but whatever. I mean, I played Super Auto Pets as well. I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I still play Backpack Battles. I think it's pretty fun. But yeah. But anyway, to just mention Backpack Battles, I think that game, I don't know if you know, but I think it's only two devs. It's like a husband and a wife, from what I know, and they don't want to get more workers, from what I heard. And the first time it came out, it was only hard forcing. It was terrible, right? And then the balance patches were like I was reading them, I was like, wow, this game is not going anywhere. So I quit it. And then like a year later, I started playing it again because they just kept flooding the game with new items, and I kept thinking, man, they keep flooding the game with new items. This can't be good. This is going to be such an imbalanced mess. But now it's actually really fun, and I think there's one thing that, in my opinion, is extremely good that they're doing, and you should probably just straight up copy, or I don't know if you can say copy, but they have this thing. They have also different classes, just like you guys, but they have like a little dice you can click before you start a game, which allows you to just randomize your starting loadout, like completely randomize your class and your starting items. So usually you can like choose which basket you want. I don't know if you ever played that game, but you have like different backpacks and they do different stuff, and you can choose which one you want and which class you start with, and then you have set starting items. But if you click the dice, it randomizes your class, your backpack, and the items in it. And sometimes you can get some crazy things, right? That you're not supposed to get because it just takes from the equal gold item pool. So like sometimes you can start with like a dragon and stuff like that. Super cool. And I think that if you guys just had that system, just that, it would be this current patch would be so much better because right now everyone's playing dually, right? That's the only problem. If not everyone was playing dually, like if I fight the poison dually every once in a while, it's fine. But if it's every time, it warps the way I have to build my items, right? Because I have to counter him. Because most of the time it's him. And then if I am countering him, but then I fight someone else, then I'm tilted, right? I'm like, oh man, I had a 90% chance to fight the dually again, but now I'm fighting Vanessa with a one weapon build, and you know. So the way they incentivize, I forgot to mention that, they incentivize you to do the random option. They give you a little star. It's a little item that raises your chance of getting unique items, of like getting rare, like legendary items, so to speak. Okay, so you could basically say, okay, if you do a random run, you get rarity one day earlier or something like that. Like I'm sure you guys can figure out something better, but that could be a good idea because that's also just really fun to play for me at least because I always just go random, right? And then I never have to. Yeah. What do you think about that?
So in that game, it loads you in with some stuff to start. You don't have an empty backpack and then fill it up.
It loads, yes, but only with like two items, like with a sword and like something, and that's basically all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if yeah, it might be better to give them random loadouts instead of choosing from the first item. We considered some stuff like that. I was thinking of kind of like Tarkov's scav runs. You know, there's like different loadouts you can come in with, and
Yeah.
they're pretty much balanced around like the total value on you. And
Exactly. Yeah.
sometimes yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Some version of that could work. Yeah, yeah, it's a good suggestion.
But yeah, but not just that, but truly randomizing the class when you get a reward for doing it. Then people that want to hard force, they can still hard force, right? Like you can literally see the little star in the enemy's backpack when you play backpack battles, and if they don't have it, you know they are not playing a random class, so they have a disadvantage, but they are trying to hard force their build. And then whenever there's a meta where it's really bad, then there's like no people that have the little star, because the star also lowers your stamina consumption of your weapons, because that game has stamina, so you can't just flood your backpack with like infinite weapons and just one shot enemies. But yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
which I think is, by the
So
way, really cool that Bazaar doesn't have, because that stamina system is by far the most complicated thing about that game. It's like a huge noob blocker. Like it beginners are completely deterred by that. Like I had to play like 30 hours to really feel out when can I have two weapons, when can I add a third one, because you want to add as many weapons as your stamina can support, right? Usually in that game. So
yeah, yeah, the game gets way harder to balance when you simplify it with just cooldowns because like well we only ever had the cooldowns. We started simple,
yeah,
but like yeah, the something like stamina is a way to like make the design work a lot easier on yourself. So you can just like keep adding stuff, but it just makes the game worse as a system. So it's like
yes, yes, I agree.
yeah, it's interesting.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, that's super helpful stuff, dude. Thank you so much. This is super
No
helpful
worries, man.
feedback. I'd love to pick your brain some other time. I know you got to eat. I don't want to keep you from
Yeah,
food for
can
too
I?
long.
Okay. So you're done with your questions?
Yeah, mostly I just wanted like open ended ask you like compare contrast. How are you feeling about the game? But this has been super helpful. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you want to ask though, or say, I'm in no rush.
Okay. And let me know if you like. We can also talk off stream. Just you can just hit me up. You can also just ask on Discord. I'll just reply and like I'll just type. I appreciate that you appreciate my opinion. Like it's really cool. Um, because like with Riot, I don't really talk to the devs at all. I know it's a bigger game. They probably won't. But also, I flame their game a lot. Like I flame your game a lot as well. I get really tilted. Like I'm a pretty toxic. I don't know if you've seen that. Like when you said you watch my stream more often, I was like, oh, caught.
No, don't hold it back, man. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. It's okay. Call it
Okay.
a shit game. That's the first step to game development. You got to get angry enough at the thing you're playing, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna make a shurkou banger one day if you want. It's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So can I try or at least attempt? Obviously, you don't have to reply if you can't. But can I attempt to extort some information so I can clickbait the YouTube video more? Um. So when is the next patch? What are you guys thinking?
It'll be early January. It's not. I don't know why people are saying on the 6th. The 6th is like the day we're back.
That's
It'll
when
be
you're back.
like
Yeah, that's what I didn't expect. Yeah.
yeah. It'll be like it's either the middle of that week or the week right after. But
Oh,
yeah, one of
okay.
the first weeks in January.
Yeah. Did you guys already design the new patch a little bit or nothing at all?
Yeah, actually, if you're interested, I can give you staging server access. I mean, you're making content all day, so it's like we have this staging server where people can test the upcoming changes.
Oh, cool.
Um, and I actually just hit up a couple streamers like the last couple days, just because we what we need is a proper PTR server, so degenerates can just like play the game a lot and call out all the bugs, because we have just
Yeah.
too much content in this game for like a small design team to manually
Yes. Yes.
fix everything, and the content's only going to keep growing. So until we have a PTR server, we have the staging server. I can give you access if you're interested in playing off stream, but yeah, you can
Oh,
try out some of the
I
upcoming
cannot
stuff.
upload videos of that.
Uh, Once we have like official PTR, we can. I'm kind of worried about it right now because it's like really scuffed. Like everything's
Oh,
broken and
okay,
bugged
yeah,
until
yeah.
PTR.
You can
Yeah.
still. Oh, but can I in my videos reference to what I played on that server?
Oh,
Like, can
for
I like?
sure. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't mind.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, you can give me that. Thank you. Wait, I wanted to say something. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to just add on to that. Like having a small team and it being difficult to do these balance changes. I just want to say you can't do that, right? Because you're the dev. I just want to say the Reddit or like people on Reddit, right? They are literally, literally subhumans. All right? Insanity. when I was reading the pufferfish change, I thought, and everybody else thought that, every single person thought it's gonna be completely useless. And then it ends up being so overpowered. I was like, oh man, this looks really bad. That's kind of sad because I kind of like the puffer. I wish, like, it's a cool item. I wish it was still good. And then it was just the most broken piece of garbage, right? And then Reddit is like, I knew it. It's crazy to me. I can't read. Like, it's impossible. Like, these people are crazy. Crazy. Anyway, but yeah, so it's very understandable. Like, some of the changes that you guys have been doing, by the way, I love them. Like, I love all these charging. I think it made the game much more fun. For example, the my favorite thing of the new patch was the trebuchet change. It's one of my favorite items now. It's so much more versatile. It can be used in aquatic builds with like haste, with like the jellyfish. It can be used with just straight up weapons. And it has so many cool interactions now. It's super cool. With the water wheel, which kind of was a useless item before. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
then.
really glad you. Oh, sorry.
No, no, you said.
Yeah, I'm really glad you like that change. Yeah, that's a big change that's still in the middle of happening. We basically wanted to take all the items that have some effect that they spit out on a passive, and we wanted to give them a cooldown instead, and usually make them self-charge because it mostly just makes them more interactable. Like not
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
being affected by nothing, now they're affected by haste, slow, charge, freeze. They can crit,
Exactly.
cooldown reduction. So yeah, like the problem is there's so many cards in the game that work like that. We just couldn't get to all of them in like the 8 work days we had or whatever
Yeah,
after
yeah.
Thanksgiving. So Monitor Lizard we missed because he had an active, so he didn't have the yeah, we were doing like a spreadsheet pass, just didn't quite get to that. But Pufferfish didn't have the active, which is why it got changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to the rest of them, most of them in this upcoming patch. I think there will still be some stragglers, but vast majority of them we hit pretty much the same way. Yeah, it's still gonna need some balancing though. I think like the cooldowns are probably still too low on some of them, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Cool though. That is I like that a lot because like it was already very satisfying to do these infinite combos when haste burn, when burn haste, stuff like that, right? But I feel like with the charging, it's even more satisfying because now it involves a lot of skill. Like sometimes you have a duct tape and the model ship on Pygmalion, and then you have a bushel between them, right? And that's almost infinite. But then maybe you get another shielding thing, and then you're like, oh, maybe I can remove one now and add some more utility, maybe a freezing item or whatever to make a more complete build, and it adds a lot more skill cap than just when something happens, this happens, and then the other way around as well. Yeah. The second question I would like to ask is when. So a lot of people obviously ask me about the open beta, right? And I know you guys are aiming for January, but probably not, right? I don't know.
Yeah, we're not aiming for January. No, we're
Okay,
aiming for February. We originally showed a roadmap. Yeah, everyone kept pushing me for a roadmap. I told the team no good can ever come of roadmaps. And then
true.
of course we like throw it away within a few weeks of of releasing it. But yeah, that roadmap originally showed open beta in like January, I think, or December was one of the two. But yeah, we pushed it back a month plus the holidays. So it's like, yeah, we're shooting for February right now, but I don't want to like officially announce a date for that until it's like until I can actually play with the patch. Because the thing is, the open beta patch is like one of the biggest changes for us as a studio because like financially the game goes from being 33 bucks to being free,
Yeah,
and so in order for that to work, there needs to be all these monetization systems in there that just aren't in there yet. It needs like a battle pass. It needs the hero expansions. It needs, there's going to be a lot of new content and big systems going in. So it's basically we got to like finish implementing them, test them more, make sure they're bug free, and only then can we roll it over to open beta. Plus all the infrastructure stuff, which is like a rabbit hole. It's like a lot of the server stuff, like it's very hard to test until you're just live. It's hard to
exactly. Yeah.
simulate a real play environment. So, but yeah, I think, I mean, definitely early in the year it'll be out. Yeah, we're aiming for February, but I don't want to promise that February at the earliest, I guess, is what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. But that means so for February you're already aiming for a first expansion.
So Expansions.
Like in terms of the card packs, right?
Yeah, the card packs. So the card packs are gonna come in with season one. They're gonna be in the same patch as Mac, like the fourth hero.
Ah, okay.
Um, and that will. I think it's the patch like after open beta. Open. Yeah, I don't want to rattle off the feature list and open beta off the top of my head because
Yeah, yeah.
it's all kind of a blur. I have to look at the calendar and one stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
It's so hard to talk about like feature release timings because like in my head it's all a blur of 7 years of just like I'm thinking about what I want the game to be in 2 years, and in my head it's like all those pieces, and then production sort of breaks it down into like when is stuff coming out. So I have to always like go back and check like, okay, is it February or but
Mm-mm.
yeah, the season one is when we're planning the expansions and the new hero. Open beta also it's mostly the battle pass, I think, but it might also have expansions because we need the expansions in the battle pass. Yeah, I don't want to promise on any of that stuff.
Yeah, do
I
not
gotta
promise
take a look.
anything. Like,
I'm not ready for the quiz.
yeah, no, no. Promising is always bad because people just get mad when you just say nothing. Like, I'm just trying. That's why I said like, don't reply to anything that you're not comfortable with because I have the I have the honor to speak to you, so I have the duty to try to extort information out of you. But
No, for sure, man. Yeah, it's not even about me being uncomfortable. I mean, we're an open book.
no,
I've
no,
got
no, yeah,
nothing to
yeah.
hide. I just don't remember. Otherwise, I'd tell you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so Mac is gonna be. That's what I was gonna ask as well. I'm pretty sure that was probably already public knowledge, but I just didn't know. I thought Jules was gonna be next, but yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be Jules for a long time.
Oh,
I think she'll be a more popular character, but she needs some custom tech that's just not ready. Whereas Mac's mechanics are mostly ready to go. He's mostly just missing like
oh,
transform as a mechanic. That's why some cards like Virus still have like bad designs. They're sort of waiting on this transform mechanic that's not in there, or like balloon bots, the angry balloon bot and
yeah.
the happy one or whatever. It was supposed to be one card that transforms into the other. It gets angry after you
Oh,
pop its balloon. You know, it's not supposed to be like two separate guys. Um, but we're missing that transform tech.
wait, what is
So yeah,
that
once that's ready,
what is that gonna be the
like
transform?
basically the ability for a card to transform into another card in the middle of a fight or outside of a fight. Like right now, we can destroy cards mechanically, but the tech isn't ready to allow a card to transform into another card mid-fight. It's like Virus is supposed to be turning other things into viruses,
Oh,
and to have a different effect. Like it's a virus spreading kind of thing, and yeah, it just takes some engineering time to get those mechanics in.
that's sick. Okay. And that's what you're basically. Oh, and that's probably not gonna be ready for open beta, right? Because you're first gonna go for Mac.
It might be. Transform's not too far off. Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see. It might even be working internally already. I just don't know how soon we'll change cards to be using it. Sometimes we'll trickle some of that stuff in.
Hmm.
We just got permanent destroy outside of combat, so there's going to be some new events coming in that use that. Like we actually didn't have the tech to uh, like let you destroy an item outside of a fight and get some reward for it. Basically, we couldn't permanently destroy stuff, but now we can, and that opens up some encounter designs. There's basically like yeah, the game development process is like like the a lot of stuff starts with a design team, and we have like a 2 hour meeting, and then there's like a week of work of fallout from that one 2 hour meeting. So like the ideas are basically like the execution time is like the whole job, right? Actually getting it in. And so that process is like, okay, we know what we want. Now we gotta create specifications. Now we gotta prioritize it against the other 2 million things we want. And now
Hmm.
we gotta wait for engineers and artists and everyone to get to it so it can be production ready. And so like, yeah, there's all these like upcoming mechanics that have been like planned for 4 years or whatever. They're just not in yet, right? Like you talked about going in on the enchantment system more.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have this one thing. It's not even gonna be an enchantment. It'll be its own thing. But like shrinking cards is something that's a big deal for us. Like to be able to instead of having like a like tiny cutlass as an
Yeah, like
example
Tiny
of this.
Cutlass. Yeah.
Right. So
Oh, that's
tiny
cool.
we were going to treat it as an enchantment. We were calling it tiny for a lot of years, but I think it'll be its own thing. So you can have like a tiny fiery cutlass. But like that
Oh,
kind of stuff opens the door to a lot of stuff, right? Now you can have 11 slot builds, 12 slot builds. It's way more
yeah,
permutations
that
of
is
what you can
sick.
make.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say as well, right? With TFT, you get the Tactician's Crown, which allows you to play one more unit, right? And that can change your thing. That's also, yeah, that's cool. That's good to hear, because I was like, how are you guys gonna make the board bigger? Like, it would just graphically be weird. But yeah, squishing the item is perfect.
Yeah, yeah. So like that kind of thing requires a bunch of like it's not just like a couple lines of code. It's like you have to sort of like rewire the guts of the whole thing to accommodate that. And
Yeah.
so a bunch of like there's a bunch of cool things coming up that we're pretty much just waiting on the tech for. Um yeah, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that one thing we need is like a what's called like a SDLC pipeline to get updated. Like basically, in order for us to make number changes on cards or like the pufferfish change, like anything that's like a design data change, like changing what a card does, um, that should be really easy. It should just be changing some fields in a spreadsheet or whatever. But
Yeah.
in practice, it requires a ton of engineering time and like half a day to do a proper patch the way that
Oh.
everything in the back end set up right now. And so we're waiting to like fix that stuff. Once we can do that, we can patch way more often. So yeah, metas won't like sit stale for like a month or whatever. It'll we want to be patching every other week, at least. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's cool. Yeah,
we'll
that's
hit the
one of
ground
the,
running.
when I do get toxic about the game, that's one of the things where I'm like, there is no way it would take me 5 minutes to take out the lizard or something like that, right? But then I always add, it's probably not 5 minutes. It's probably something complicated, like, because I don't work in that field, right? I have no clue. But yeah,
Yeah, and if we did take out the lizard, there
it would
there'd be
just
the
be something
next one
else.
in
I mean, the
line.
lizard isn't even, the lizard is just the buzzword, right? I think the
Yeah,
ignition
it's like
core
a
is way
third
more
best
broken.
dually.
Yeah. But do you guys have any, just to get a little bit into the meta, do you guys have any, like, do you have some sneak peek about the, like, what is like a big balance up change coming? Like, in terms of specifically
Trainers are
dueling.
getting the way the level up rewards are getting reworked at
Oh,
the same time that skills are getting reworked in a sense. So like right now, skilled trainers show up next to merchants, and it creates like a lot of variability in how many skills different builds can end up on.
yes.
Sometimes you just like don't see them, and that feels really unfair or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, moving forward, the oh yeah, and then the monster loot's a big problem, and the level up rewards for a million reasons. And so basically, most of the level up rewards are going to be kind of like fixed at most levels, kind of like how they are in like level, like 6, 11, 15. There's like those
Yes.
set levels where you get a specific thing. Most of the levels are going to work that way, and then most of the skill trainers are going to be inside the level ups. And so I think that'll help a
That's
lot of the
good.
problems.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's like a bunch of small stuff too, like no more like large items as a starting item, and it's a lot of card changes, there's a lot of skills we still have to get to. We're cutting a lot of the filler ones. We're buffing a lot of the bronze ones. So the skills will generally start stronger and then
Nice.
scale not as aggressively.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Oh, that's cool. And then, so for level up rewards, like, what I feel like right now in the game, it's really hard to upgrade items. Do you agree with that? Like, it's really hard to get your
yeah,
upgrades. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, is that also going to be part of the level up rewards more often, where you just, like, upgrade the
yeah,
leftmost bronze?
exactly. Yeah, there's way more of those in the new level
That's
ups.
good.
Yeah, there's also like there's an issue with how it's working right now, that I personally have been pushing to change. Like I hate all this hidden dealer spawn logic, but it was just the right solution for what we had at the time in certain areas. But basically, if you have like a bronze item and a merchant would roll you a silver version of it,
Yeah.
we don't deal you the duplicate.
Oh,
Like and so a bunch of like times where you would roll the upgrade, it doesn't
it doesn't actually show up
roll.
because, yeah,
Yeah. And so I want to change that. So like if you roll one, yeah, I want to change it so if you roll one, we basically downshift it and still have it deal and let you upgrade more easily. But the problem is like there's some merchants like Goldie or whatever, he
Yeah,
only has like gold items. It's like if you have a bronze and then he rolls you the gold version of that, now we downshift it to bronze. It just looks wonky. It's like you
it
have gold
looks
item,
weird.
bronze item, gold item inside the
Yes.
gold merchant. So there's some like stuff we got to figure out there.
Can
But
I make a
yeah, in
suggestion?
general, we need
So
more like upgrade tokens, more like I think the monster loot needs a big pass. I think there will be items that just like upgrade your leftmost bronze item once we get to all those, and that'll be like the monster rewards should feel better after they've had more work. So
yeah.
yeah.
So I have a good suggestion about this shop thing conundrum. So let's say you have a silencer, right? And silencer is usually an item that you can't really like. It feels really bad to have a bronze one, but you need a silencer for like a one weapon build. So you don't really want to sell the bronze silencer to hope to get like a gold or diamond silencer late game. It feels really bad, right? Because you still need that silencer, right? But then late game you'll never find the bronze silencer again to upgrade it, and you're basically saying you would want it to like let's say it's day 12, you literally can't even find a bronze item, I think. But then it would just downgrade, it would roll a diamond silencer, but it's going to downgrade it to bronze for you to buy. That's what you're trying to implement. I would
Yeah.
suggest it keeps the diamond silencer, but it just replaces your bronze silencer. Or if you have a bronze silencer and you find a silver silencer, you just buy it and it gives you the silver silencer, you know? And if you find a gold silencer, it gives you the gold one. If you find a bronze one, it upgrades it.
Yeah,
Probably
mechanically, I
harder to
like what that.
implement, but yeah,
I like what that does in terms of like how it plays.
yeah,
Um, I don't like how inconsistent it is with all the other fusing.
yes, true,
But yeah, maybe there's a way to like
true,
if
true.
effectively, I want that for like that chance of upgrades and that like that's how it should work. That's how often you should be upgrading is what you're describing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, we just got to find a consistent way to do it where it's like all the rules are still consistent.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah, man.
Um,
And then yeah, we're gonna get like ranked mode fixed at Legend at some point. I don't think that's not in for this next patch, but that's coming in the near future. But yeah, we'll do a reset when that comes. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. There's some
nice.
other cool features. I mean, there's a new feature in the next patch that I think will make a lot of people happy. They've been waiting for. I'll leave some surprises in,
Okay.
but yeah, I think I hope it makes the game feel better. The frustrating part for me is like we just didn't have time to get to everything. Like we got a lot in this patch. Like we changed
Yeah,
900 something data points in the game. Um, of, it's just there's still some items we didn't get to, and there's still going to be like some skills that are a little spicy. And there's probably going to be some stuff we just outright missed that we meant to change. Just because we don't have a PTR server, we just can't get to it all yet. So we're working on all that stuff. I think like once the game is in season one and we're going into like a monthly cadence, we'll have like all the important stuff. We'll be able to push design data changes fast, and then there will be like a proper PTR server at some point. So you guys aren't doing quality assurance on the live build anymore. And yeah,
yeah.
it'll be good.
Okay, nice. Then one last question: the mobile version. Like, how far is that coming along? Like, are you?
We're working on it. Yeah, it's a we're again like I don't want to give deadlines, but yeah,
No,
quarter
absolutely.
four is what we're aiming for right now. But yeah,
Wait,
it's
say
a
that
high
again.
high
When are
priority.
you aiming for?
Quarter four, like
Quarter
like
four.
tail end of next year.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there's basically a lot of optimization work that needs to happen to get it done. But yeah, the UI is designed and everything, and a lot of the hard work is ready. But there's just a lot of optimization work that's going to need to happen. And the good news is the stuff that makes the game work on mobile will also make it more performant on PC.
That's
Like
good.
Yeah, but I hope even in the next patch we've addressed a lot of the bigger issues that make people need to restart the client and that kind of stuff. But that should just keep getting better all year.
Nice, nice. All right, good news. Yeah. Let me see if Twitch chat has something. Do you guys have anything else to ask him when we have this rare opportunity? Or maybe it won't be as rare, right? Who
Yeah,
knows?
man, I'll stop in again. Yeah, it's great talking to you. Like I'm always around. The one of the reasons the balance is so fucked is I just don't want to play the game anymore. And the reason I don't want to play the game anymore is because it's strictly more fun at every moment to watch someone play the game. Like it's a very unique experience. Like I spent so long making this thing, and I would rather watch other people play than to play it myself at this point. Because I'm already like 10,000 hours deep or whatever into this
Yeah.
game. It's like, um, uh, yeah. And so yeah. I wish I played more.
Well, it's
This is what
probably
we need.
also because it's your little creation and you're seeing other people have fun with it, right?
Yeah,
Wait, so you
exactly.
you
It's
watch the stream more often? Like I thought you only came by that when you typed.
Yeah, man. Well, once in a while, yeah, I watch a stream. I mean, not for like super long. I listen in the background, right? I
Yeah,
tune into. Depends on the time of day I'm watching. I'm
yeah,
traveling a lot right now, and you're such a consistent streamer. You're on like every day, so yeah,
yeah,
I tune into yours all the time. There's like Trinet, Admirable,
yeah.
Gara, all the regulars that are like in the bizarre category. I just I'm watching all day basically like a
Oh, cool,
podcast. Yeah.
cool, cool. That's so wholesome. Okay, so some people are asking. There's like one elephant in the room. The 2x speed best battles. I heard that you guys don't want to speed up the fights because it's just like you want the experience to stay as it is. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I know the first fight of the day can be annoying, or like a shield mirror could be annoying sometimes, but I think the speed of the fights is pretty good right now. I think the Sandstorm controls it pretty well. And the problem with speeding stuff up is everyone would do it because it helps you farm faster, whether
Yeah,
your goal is chess or rank or whatever. So everyone would do it, and then the game would look shitty everywhere. I mean, we've put so many years of effort into making
yes,
this game presentable and not just like all these other indie games. And yeah, if you fast forward all the animations, everything just looks scuffed. So that's my main issue with it. But I know people just want the next hit of the slot machine. Like the
yeah,
longer they
yeah,
play the slot, the faster they want to pull the lever. So that tension's always going to be there. People are always going to want it faster.
yeah,
Um, if anything, and I feel kind of bad about this, it's going to slightly slow down, not the fights, but like when you click on something, we're not just like playing all these animations simultaneously anymore. It's like step by step in a sequence,
yeah.
and that'll make like you collecting experience and all that those timings more intuitive in the long run. But um, next patch might feel a little slower in some areas. Like skill reveals are way faster. That'll be
Mm-hmm.
faster next patch too. So kind of a wash maybe. But yeah, the fast forwarding fights not so much. I'm not too into it.
Let me tell you my opinion on that, by the way. So I feel like most fights in this game, like literally 99%, I'm like at the edge of my seat just looking, am I gonna win? And it's like not really that predictable. But there's just every once in a while, and that's the only time, and I feel like that's the only time people really complain about that as well when that happens to them, is when you're just, again, you have like a shovel early game, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna win anyway, and you're like, or like you're low rolling anyway, and you're just frustrated. You just want to get to the next day. You just want to see if you can get something to upgrade your build, right? And you're just sitting in that fight, and you're like, oh, I know I'm gonna lose, but he just has a shield build, and I just have to wait for the sandstorm. I feel like that's the only time people really wanna, like maybe later down the line that would probably require a lot of tech. But if the game obviously recognizes right at the start if you're gonna win or not, right? Because it's just math. So the game could just see, okay, this guy is getting blasted. There is no there's no amount of RNG crit that is gonna save him. But the other idiot is just playing a full tank build. The guy is just watching it. It's gonna be miserable, and then it can just allow you to like straight up skip a fight or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, so that's a good point because we simulate the combat before you see it. Like
Yeah.
our servers do it, and then your client's basically like replaying the fight. It's drawing the fight for you that we So we know the result ahead of time,
Exactly.
and I think you're right. We could find some way to identify those fights that are going to be annoying to watch, and then only then give you that option to skip.
Yeah.
That could work maybe. Yeah, the trick is just defining a simple set of rules that works for all the situations the way we want. So it's not like so that option's only showing up when it's helpful and
Exactly. Yeah. Again, that's probably like a really late game thing, like like a late game as like
yeah,
late game in development. Like I'm using game terms for real life, but you know what I'm saying?
for sure. But also like yeah, if you just because the fight's long doesn't necessarily mean it was boring to watch. So it's
Absolutely.
like it kind of depends on like what's the rule going to be to offer that option.
The rule is just if the enemy deals no damage, but he has like 7,000 shield, and you are dealing 40 damage, like something like that, like a brick body, a gold brick body day 2, and your only damage item is a shovel with 40 damage or something, right? Like that. That's the only time I'm personally frustrated. Other than that, I'm always like watching, and I'm like, okay, because you can learn. That's the thing. It's a bait to speed up. Again, I play backpack battles, and a lot of people just play on double speed and it just happens immediately. You cannot infer anything what's going on, but you have to pay attention to your stamina, to the damage. You have to really pay attention to see what you need to improve, to how much mana you're gaining and stuff. Again, that game is very complicated in terms of like all these resources that you have during the fight. But yeah, like but even Bazaar, it's very complicated to see, okay, is my bushel actually going infinite or how much is it triggering? And sometimes even at the base speed, like I would play 0.5 speed if I could. Sometimes just to see exactly what I can improve on the build. So yeah, like I do
Yeah,
think, and a lot of the beginners, they're just gonna be like you said, they just want the dopamine hit from the slot machine. They would just go double speed and they wouldn't even think about it, and they would miss out on those learnings. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's a little bit of a Reddit opinion to just put the 2 times speed, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
the Reddit opinions are super helpful too. You know, it's like
No, absolutely.
if a clock is 6 hours ahead, it's still pretty reliable as long as you know that it's 6 hours ahead. You know, like when I my last job before this was delivering sandwiches at Jimmy John's, and
Yeah.
the day I decided to quit, I asked my stream like, hey, should I message my boss and quit tomorrow? 95% of them said don't do it. You know, and so I knew it was the right thing to do. It's like I
Based. Yeah.
you need to, yeah, you need to listen to the opinions of those folks sometimes because like if you're doing the same thing you should be worried, like so anyway, Reddit serves a purpose, I guess.
Yeah. True. That's how I use my Twitch chat for TFT backseating. That's how I
Right.
always use them. It's so easy. It's always flawless as well. The exact opposite, flawless, easy win every time. All right. Well, I think that could conclude it. I don't think I have any other questions. Maybe Twitch chat still has some other stuff, but I don't want to keep you too long either. And I think my food is also done. So yeah. But yeah, let
Right
me
on, man.
know.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I hope this helped a little bit. I really appreciate that you appreciate my opinion as well. Oh, one last question, okay? This is just relevant for me as a content creator, right? Because most people don't really care about that. Just for me as a viability to continue doing Bazaar long term. Again, I love the game, and the amount of views I'm getting on my YouTube videos is way less than TFT, of course, right now. But it's still a very decent amount, and the amount of fun I'm having, very worthwhile. I'm planning to keep doing that, and I think with especially mobile release and stuff, it's gonna blow up in popularity. But are you intending on doing like what kind of marketing are you intending to do later down the line and stuff like that?
So you are the marketing Shurko, and
Okay.
I I've been talking and thinking a lot about the business of video game marketing in the last few years,
Yeah.
and I'm relatively convinced at this point that it's a scam, it, through and through. Like
Okay.
basically, I think players are like women. The ones that you can buy aren't worth having. You know, it's like you if you buy your players, you will lose them to a higher bidder. And what I'm interested in is being the best available option for our niche, like being the best option for a drafting game.
Yeah,
Because I know as a streamer, you know, you're working 40 hours a week at least on making content. How many of those hours are actually sponsored? You know, a couple hours maybe.
zero.
What the fuck do you play for the other 38 hours?
Yeah,
You're gonna play your favorite game in your favorite genre
yes,
because
yes.
that's the dream, right? Playing games for a living. So I got into this job, and so like PUBG blew up, broke all the Steam records because
Yeah,
they were the best battle royale option at that time. They were
true.
better than H1Z1, the culling, whatever the fuck else existed. But then day, the day that Fortnite released, there was a non-buggy option.
True.
And in that day, PUBG went from being the number one option to the number two option for some players. And the difference between being the number one option and the number two option is 100% of Ninja's stream time. Can you imagine paying streamers for 2 hours of broadcasts a week, and then for
Yeah, it's
38
true.
hours for free, they're promoting your competitor just because their game is better? I think that's how I think about it. It's like a Darwinian competitive experience where anything you could be doing right now is competing for your time. YouTube, every game, you know, and you know, different players have different kinks in terms of what kind of game they like. But as far as like strategy game players that get off on feeling smart, I hope we eventually become the best option that's a go-to. And I think in the long run, it's just a gravitational pull that can't lose. I've never seen it lose. If marketing mattered, there would not be successful games without it, and yet there are countless examples.
I agree.
And so, you know, we're never going to be buying users, but I do think there's going to be two huge influxes of users that are going to help, like your content, get a lot more views. For example, going free to play will be a big one. I think it'll 10x the player base or whatever, and you know
Yeah,
that's coming soon. And then at the end of the next year, hopefully, is mobile, and then that'll be another, you know, hopefully 10x or more. And so those influxes are coming. I will say also though, just because I don't want to be doing first party marketing, just because I'm not like spending on ads, does not mean that we don't have a strategy for this, right? Like one big priority for us, and I'd love to put you in the pilot program for this, is our creator program.
oh,
My view is that the distribution channels of gaming have completely changed. Like nobody discovers a game on top charts on an app store or whatever the fuck anymore. Like you find it from a streamer or a friend of yours that recommends it, and then there's really no other place people find games, in my opinion. And so at least not the thought leaders that bring other players in. And so you control the distribution for games in your genre as a content creator, but you're getting 0% of the cut of that game revenue as the distributor.
yeah,
That's so different from every other business. Every other business, the distributor gets a big cut. And so, you know, we're building out this creator program where, like, you know, like broad strokes, like, you know, we create, like, just as an example, we create code shurkou or whatever. And
yeah,
anyone that uses it at checkout gets like 10% off what they bought, and then you get 10% of what they spent in cash.
yeah.
And what I've seen through like Fortnite creator codes and stuff like that, I think that revenue would dwarf all other revenue
Absolutely,
combined
it
for a
does.
content creator.
Yeah,
At scale, I think that incentivizes the right people to do the right kind of marketing.
yeah,
I think more studios will do it. And yeah, I think shoveling money into the Facebook furnace is just a losing battle for everyone. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. True. So, do you know? I'm sure you know Supercell, right? For example, you know Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, stuff like that, right? Have you ever played these
Yeah,
games?
yeah, I played Brawl Stars a bit. Yeah,
Okay. Do you think they're good games? Okay, maybe you
I think
shouldn't. I don't wanna. I don't wanna make you flame other.
define good.
My
I have a lot
opinion.
of respect for.
Yeah. Okay. So my opinion is, I think these games are like cool, like right for like really casuals. But like imagine making content around these games, like Clash Royale, something so simple. Like imagine spending 8 hours a day on something as simple as that, right? I feel like I'm looking at these YouTubers and I'm like, there's almost no way that is actually what they actually enjoy doing, but they are doing it because of the creator codes. The creator codes are crazy in those games. I think it's 5%, by the way. I think 5%. They're getting 5%, and from what I heard, they're getting hundreds of thousands like a month from just those creator codes, right?
Hey,
And
you want to know it's another sick example, like the Fallout TV show just came out, right? Hugely successful.
yeah,
Fallout is like one IP. The show makes no money. It
yeah,
just loses it.
yeah,
The game is not trying to bring people to the show. The show is bringing people to the games who had
yeah,
spikes in sales that like the games monetize better than like any other medium by like a lot. And so like that is where the money is. That's why I wanted our company to get into game development instead of doing the esports stuff.
yeah,
Because like there's no money, like nobody spends money on esports. If you're a fan of League of Legends, you're not going to spend money on League of Legends esports. You're going to spend money on League of Legends. That's where the cash flow is. And so the esports part of it is like a retention tool, a marketing engine. It's not like where the spending happens. And so I want to give the creators a cut, a big cut of like where the spending happens. And I think that'll really line up the incentives right.
yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I remember these videos as well. Like I watched a lot of your stuff when you were talking about how you wanted to move the company from like esports and like the influencer marketing stuff to having a product that you're selling or yeah, yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
man.
Okay,
Well, that's awesome. Thanks so much for following it. Yeah, and thanks for the answers. Like I definitely value
no
your
worries.
opinion. I'll get you a staging server access if you have some time to try it. I'd love some more feedback. But yeah, dude, hit me up
Absolutely.
anytime. I'm always down to get on and talk. It's really no problem.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for yeah, letting me do the YouTube video as well, right? I think people are gonna enjoy it. I think I'm gonna be able to get people from other like that don't maybe know me yet because Reynad in the title is Reynad in the title. But yeah,
Oh, throw
thank
it
you.
in, man. Yeah, throw it in. Careful with idolatry too. No good can come of it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good dinner. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye bye. See you, man.